All right, so for this deep dive, we're going to take a closer look at something I know a lot of you have been asking about. The German job market when it comes to GNSS.
GNSS.
Yeah, GNSS. Global navigation satellite systems, basically all the tech that makes GPS and those kinds of things tick. We've got some pretty in-depth analysis here, and we're really going to focus on how things look for people graduating with degrees in geodesy and geoinformatics.
Sounds good.
The mission today is to give you those key takeaways, like what the market looks like right now, which industries are hot, what skills you really need, and what the future holds, all that, but without going full-on tech jargon overload.
Right.
So first off, maybe you could set the scene a bit. What's the overall tech landscape looking like in Germany right now, like in 2024?
Well, the German tech sector in 2024 is, it's really interesting. Lots of investment going on, particularly in digital infrastructure.
Uh-huh.
Now, entry-level positions, those can be pretty competitive. Lots of people vying for those spots. But overall, the demand for skilled IT professionals is, huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, by the end of 2025, they're predicting over 700,000 vacancies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Wow.
Plus, with data creation growing at something like 22.5%, tech is just becoming more and more crucial.
Yeah, for sure. So how does GNSS fit into this whole picture? We're talking about geographic information systems, GIS, right?
Right.
And Germany has some pretty major hubs for that kind of work, places like Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, the big ones.
Yeah.
What's it like specifically for, say, someone coming out of a program like the one at Leibniz University in Hanover?
Well, while the geospatial sector in general is growing pretty well, I think the demand for GNSS professionals, especially those with a specific background, like from Leibniz, is it's really promising.
Okay, promising. Promising in what ways? Like, which industries are we really talking about?
Well, GNSS is kind of fundamental to a whole bunch of crucial sectors in Germany. A big one is the automotive industry. All the stuff with autonomous vehicles, driver assistance systems, all that. It's not just about software, though. It really depends on super accurate positioning.
Makes sense.
So you've got companies like Trimble and Here Technologies right at the front of that. The safety requirements for level 4 and 5 autonomy, that's the really advanced self-driving stuff. Those are pushing the limits of GNSS accuracy.
Uh-huh.
So they need people who can develop and implement those super precise positioning solutions like centimeter level accuracy, even in, busy city environments.
Right. So apart from the self-driving stuff, what else is there? I mean, GNSS has been around for a while.
Oh, absolutely. Those more traditional areas, things like surveying and geomatics, all that land surveying, big infrastructure projects, they still rely heavily on GNSS. Companies like Trimble, again, Leica Geosystems, Esri, they're all in that space.
And what about things like agriculture?
Oh, yeah. Agriculture is a big one. Precision farming is getting more and more sophisticated, and companies like BASF are leading the way there. And then you can't forget the actual space and satellite industries. Companies like GMV and the European Space Agency, they're directly involved in building and maintaining the whole GNSS infrastructure.
Wow, so it's pretty diverse.
And then there's the whole public sector side of things, too. Urban planning, disaster response, those all rely on accurate location data.
From GNSS.
Yep. And then, of course, there's the whole tech and IT world, always developing new hardware and software and all those location-based services we all use on our phones and everything. Really, it's a surprisingly wide range of opportunities.
Okay, so someone's listening to this, they're interested. What are the key skills they would need to break into these kinds of roles?
Well, obviously, a strong foundation in geodesy and geoinformatics is essential. But more and more, it's about combining that with cutting-edge IT skills.
IT skills?
Yeah. Programming is becoming super important.
What kind of programming are we talking about?
Well, Python is really popular for data analysis. MATLAB's often used in research. And then you have C++ for some of the more hardcore embedded systems work.
Uh-huh.
And hands-on experience with GNSS equipment like Trimble systems, that's a big plus.
Right.
But beyond the technical stuff, things like strong analytical skills, communication skills, those are always in demand.
Yeah, makes sense.
And this is interesting, I think. Knowledge of IT networking, cloud computing, databases, all that, it's becoming really important for GNSS work, too.
Yeah.
Because GNSS data is being integrated into all sorts of other systems now.
Gotcha. So what about the future? What's the outlook for GNSS jobs in Germany looking like?
It was looking pretty strong, actually. The projections show some pretty good growth.
Yeah.
The European GNSS market overall is predicted to expand quite a bit. And the German market for analyzing geospatial imagery, that's expected to grow even faster.
Wow.
And this is all driven by the fact that everything's going digital. The demand for location-based services is just increasing all the time. And then, of course, there's the whole autonomous technology thing.
Right.
Plus, Germany's really committed to the Galileo satellite system, which is another big factor.
So it's not just about like existing applications growing, right? There's new tech coming out that's creating totally new possibilities.
Exactly. Sensor fusion, that's a key one. Combining GNSS data with other sensors, like in vehicles and drones, to get even more reliable and accurate positioning, especially in tough environments. Then you've got indoor positioning. That's really taking off. And think about precise monitoring, keeping tabs on infrastructure health, spotting environmental changes, even optimizing agriculture.
Right.
And on top of that, the core GNSS technology itself is constantly improving. Things like inter-satellite links, that's pretty cutting edge. And we're seeing innovations like laser RTK, a new technique that uses lasers along with the traditional GNSS signals to get even better precision in certain situations.
So it sounds like there's a lot of R&D going on in Germany focused on this stuff.
Absolutely. Top universities like Leibniz and Munich, big research institutions like the German Aerospace Center, they're all heavily involved.
The DLR.
Yes, the DLR. And the industry players are really active in the R&D scene too. For example, the master's program at Leibniz University in Hannover, they have a really great track record of preparing graduates for these kinds of cutting-edge research roles.
So stepping back a bit, what's the overall employment outlook for anyone in geospatial technology in Germany?
Overall, it's a very positive picture. I mean, the geospatial imagery analytics market is booming, and areas like traditional GIS and surveying, those have loads of applications. And Germany has a long history of expertise in satellite technology and surveying instruments, which gives them a real edge. And since GNSS underpins so much of this, those skills are in high demand.
Are there any general skills shortages in Germany that could affect the GNSS sector specifically?
Well, yeah, there is a bit of a shortage of engineers and IT professionals in general right now, and that probably affects the GNSS field too. While the total number of IT job postings might go up and down a bit, the basic demand for really skilled people remains strong. So if you're a well-qualified GNSS engineer or specialist, you're probably going to find yourself at a pretty good spot.
Okay. So last question. We've talked a lot about Leibniz University Hannover. How well prepared are their graduates to actually enter this job market?
I'd say very well prepared, especially those coming out of the positioning and navigation specialization. The program is really tuned into what the industry needs. It gives students practical experience, and they have great connections. I'd put their employability in the German GNSS sector at like a 9 out of 10. Really strong.
So to wrap things up, for all of you listening, think about this. Location data is becoming more and more integrated into every part of our lives. So what totally unexpected applications of GNSS technology might pop up in the next, say, 10 years? What kind of brand new skills will we need to keep up with those changes? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.